The Bush Doctrine insists that preemptive strikes are necessary. Would you wait for an aggressive event to happen to us before taking military action, or would you go into countries that have not asked for our help to be so-called liberators?
No, I believe in them making the first strike, and then we go in and wipe it up. I mean, it's time for us to be brutal. And I'm just telling them, you don't want to mess with the United States. If you do, we'll just totally annihilate you. And you don't have to do that to one country. I don't know if Iran's ever going to attack Israel, but if they do, then we would go over there and just totally obliterate the nation of Iran. Not the people, the government, the government leaders. Too many innocent individual citizens are being injured in these wars.
Okay.
But I don't believe in us going out like we went into Iran and Afghanistan. That's totally wrong, and because I'm so convinced that 9/11 was an inside job. I mean, I've seen this happen over and over again. That same way that Hitler did it, that the Reichstag was attacked, so that people had to lose their rights, and it's all out of propaganda. We have to stop this, or we're destroying the world.
Well, it begs the question, how are you going to know what country is responsible for detonating that first bomb when the military-industrial complex has every motive to make it look like a country's fighting another country, when really it's not a nation against a nation, but the military-industrial complex just setting off a firecracker to get a thing started. That really begs the question, how do you know when we're in a war that's legitimate or one that's fabricated by the powers that be who just want to sell more weapons? But anyway, we'll maybe not get the answer to that today, but I want to hear your answer about preemptive strikes, Santa.
All right. Well, that goes to that false flag issue we're just addressing. I think our intelligence community is certainly smart enough and experienced enough to give Congress and the President enough information to work with should there be a credible, provable, demonstrable threat against the United States that would cause us severe harm as far as killing people, not so much the wealth part of it, but actual lives. I think if the intelligence community had enough evidence and brought it to Congress and the President where a preemptive, in quotes, strike would be prudent, then I think it's something worth considering. But barring overwhelming evidence to indicate there would be grounds for a preemptive strike, I think we should stay out of that particular business. It smacks too much of the false flag thing. And I still have questions about 911 myself. I'm a former Assistant Deputy Police Commissioner of New York City, and was there when the Port Authority towers were built. And they were being completed, and there were some issues even back then.
Wow. I had a question for you, Santa, like a follow-up for that, because you were taught. Oh, do you feel that the intelligence community is trustworthy?
I think it can be trustworthy. I think depending on what their motives are, they just really have to be questioned in a way. You just have to ask the right questions. I think they have the information. They just have to not only connect the dots, but be willing to share the information in an honest way with Congress and the President. Right now, the oversight is kind of shaky. I don't really trust the oversight, but I do trust most of the intelligence community to collect adequate information that we can base decisions upon. Okay. They're pretty good analysts themselves. Sometimes they miss stuff, and sometimes they're swayed by political reasons and forces. And I think there's an easy way to stop that.
Well, I think that you brought up a good point, which is maybe there needs to be eternal vigilance on seeing if there's an ulterior motive to people that we have employed.
Yeah, there is, and it's also a question of the State Department as well. The State Department, in my view, has to stop lying. They lie a lot. And if we want to have genuine communications, trustworthy communications with other countries, we have to stop lying.
I'm all for stopping lying. Okay.